Hello, dear subscribers and guests of the channel. Astronauts and cosmonauts are chosen to work in space. Selection for the cosmonaut squad is a multi-step process that includes checking candidates for compliance with certain requirements. Selections are not carried out regularly, but as needed, on average once every 3 to 5 years. Each lasts about a year. Astronauts in the United States are selected according to strict criteria that depend on the agency's specialization, NASA. Recruitment usually takes place every 2 years. The frequency depends on how many astronauts have retired and how many people are needed for a particular mission. Some requirements for NASA astronaut candidates: a citizenship, master's degree in STEM science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics from an accredited educational institution. It can be engineering, biology, physics, computer science, or mathematics. At least 3 years of relevant professional experience after graduation. This may be a job in a field related to specialization: spacecraft development, research in physics or biology, programming, aeronautical engineering, and others. Physical fitness: candidates must be in excellent physical condition to withstand overloads during rocket launch, prolonged stay in zero gravity, and other extreme conditions. Selection procedure: the candidate's application is sent to the NASA Astronaut Selection Committee for consideration. Then a small group of the most qualified candidates are invited for an interview at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. About half of this group is invited back for a repeat interview. Of these candidates, a select few return for a 2-year course of study. Evaluation criteria: some selection criteria. Height, for example, for an astronaut pilot, from 158 to 190 centimeters; for an astronaut researcher, from 149 to 193 centimeters. Visual acuity must be adjusted to 20/20ths for each eye. Blood pressure should not exceed 140/90ths when measured in a sitting position. Proficiency in English at a high level is a prerequisite. Known cases: selection of the first astronauts in 1959. 508 candidates were initially selected, of which only 36 people received an initial medical examination. As a result, out of 508 people, only 1.4% between the ages of 32 and 38 were considered fit and made up the first NASA astronaut squad. Who can become an astronaut in the Russian Federation? In order to be accepted into the cosmonaut course, a candidate for the role of cosmonaut must pass medical and psychological tests, as well as undergo an in-person interview. During the Soviet Union, membership in the Communist Party of the Soviet Union was also a prerequisite for joining the cosmonaut course. Konstantin Feoktistov was the only exception for. The main current requirements for joining the cosmonaut squad are: Russian citizenship, age up to 35 years, higher education, knowledge of English, successful completion of medical and psychological tests, body weight up to 90 kilograms, nationality and age. The first and most basic requirement is the citizenship of the Russian Federation. Only Russian citizens become cosmonaut candidates. Applicants with dual citizenship or with a residence permit in another country are not allowed to participate in the competitive selection process. As for the age, the upper limit is 35 years as of December 31st of the year in which the recruitment was announced. This is not an accidental figure. On the one hand, a person is already accumulating sufficient professional experience. On the other hand, there is still a long career ahead, given that cosmonaut training takes several years. When I came to the selection in 2006, I was 29 years old. It was the optimal age. He already had military school, work experience as an instructor pilot, and at the same time there was enough time ahead for a full-fledged space career. Education and profession: higher education is required to join the cosmonaut course. Candidates with specialties or master's degree courses in the following fields are accepted: computer science and computer engineering, electronics, radio engineering and communication systems, physical and technical sciences and technologies, aviation and rocket and space engineering, mathematics and mechanics, physics and astronomy, chemistry, biological sciences. In addition, candidates with higher education in the specialty medical science are considered, especially with experience in aerospace, underwater, military medicine, or disaster medicine. After graduation, you must have at least 3 years of professional experience. Specialists from the Russian aviation or rocket and space industries are given priority in the selection process. Pilots of state, civil, and experimental aviation with a qualification category of at least pilot 3rd class also have a good chance of admission. Medical requirements. Medical selection is one of the strictest stages. Applicants must have excellent health that meets the criteria for flight personnel. Main parameters: height, from 150 to 190 centimeters sitting height, 80 to 99 centimeters body weight, 50 to 90 kilograms maximum foot length, 29.5 centimeters the maximum transverse size of the shoulder area, 50 to centimeters maximum distance between the corners of the armpits, 45 centimeters maximum hip width in sitting position, 41 centimeters chest circumference, 94 to 112 centimeters. These restrictions are not accidental. For example, the maximum chest volume is limited by the size of the cuirass of a spacesuit for working in outer space. And height while sitting are directly related to the ability to fit in the couch and chair of a spacecraft. As for vision, slight myopia up to -0.5 diopters or hyperopia up to +2.0 is allowed. Astigmatism is a contraindication. Stages of cosmonaut selections for the cosmonaut squad are not held regularly, but as needed, on average once every 3 to 5 years, and each lasts about a year. Interestingly, until 2012, the kits were mostly departmental. The selection took place among enterprises of the space industry and military units. Now there are open sets where any Russian citizen who meets the requirements can become an astronaut. See you among the stars! Watch my channel and subscribe. You will learn a lot of new and interesting things. Click on the bell to be the first to watch new videos on the channel.